Hello, and thanks for joining me on this episode of Simply Saturday, where I get to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. My name is Julie, and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. Today's card design actually comes from a friend of mine. Cheryl is a colleague, another Stampin' Up demonstrator, and she did a Facebook Live and perhaps also a YouTube video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link up here in this corner so that you can also view Cheryl making her card. And as we go along today, I will talk about the different pieces of DSP and the different sizes and so forth. But again, this whole idea came from Cheryl, and I cased her card. I'll be using the Country Bouquet stamp set. And if you have been watching this bundle, the stamp set and the coordinating punch, they have been sold out. They are due to come back in stock on April 17th, or the week of April 17th, so do be sure and watch that. I realize that Valentine's Day has come and gone. However, this set is so versatile that it's really not just for Valentine's. I love this stamp, which we're going to be using today, and the hearts and the other sentiments can certainly be used for many, many other occasions. All right, this stamp set, the punch, the bundle, they are all found in the mini catalog, January to April 2023. And as I said, those should be back in stock the week of April 17th. Please stay tuned to the end of this video where I'm going to show you a couple of other cards with the same layout, and you're going to just be amazed at how different it looks once you change up your colors and your designer series paper. So let's begin. For my card base this time, I am using a thick piece of basic white cardstock. It's 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored and folded at 4.25. So because my card base is white, I do like to start with thick cardstock just so it's a little bit sturdier. Okay, then I have a piece of mint Macaron cardstock, and this measures 4 inches by 5.25. Then I've got my designer series paper. And these papers also coordinate with that Country Bouquet stamp set. The paper is currently available, and the name of that paper, pictured here on page 9, is Country Floral Lane, and it's a pack of 12 by 12 papers. So I have cut my pieces down. This piece measures 2.5 by 3.5. This piece measures 1.5 by 4.5 inches, and this piece measures 1 inch by 3 inches. So we're going to be attaching these to our mint macaron piece here in just a moment. I also do have a strip. This is just a 1/2 inch strip that measures about 4.5 inches. This is the piece that I'm going to put on the inside of the card just to decorate that one up a little bit. Then I have a scrap of white and a scrap of Petal Pink, and we'll be using that for our sentiment. So the first thing we're going to do is glue. I'm using my liquid adhesive, my liquid glue, and the first thing I'm going to do is put this piece in place. Let me show you how these are going to go. This is going to go here, this one's going to go here, and this one's going to go here. So as I'm doing it, though, I'll tell you how I did it. I think it makes it easy, and if this helps you, then I'm glad to share my little tips. So I turned my cardstock sideways, and I know I'm just about ready to start a new bottle of liquid glue. Let's see if I can still get anything out of this one. There we go. All right, so the reason I turned my cardstock sideways is I'm going to be working in this top. This is going to be the top left corner. But by putting it this way, I can eyeball this margin and this margin. So I'm looking for about 1/8 of an inch at the top, which right now is at the side, and here. So I like that I can see that as I lay it down and press it into place. Okay, then the second piece is next, and it's going to go down here, and I kind of want that same margin. So again, I'm just going to turn it this way. I'm going to lay it down. Okay, this is going to go in this corner. So I'm looking at my borders. And I like how that looks. And then lay it down. If you don't get it quite right, you have a little bit of wiggle room to slide it around if you're using your liquid glue. And then the third piece is just going to go right against this one. And I'm also going to line up this right side. All right. So once you've got those first two in place, getting this third one in place is pretty easy. All right, so the bottom is going to touch the right side. I want to have that same margin on the outside here as I did down here. And now that piece is in place. Okay, that is where the changes come. So if you're going to make this card and use different papers, you might change your cardstock color, you might change your DSP and get a totally different look. But you can use the same dimensions of each piece of paper and the same placement, and it will still look really good, but you can change it up. Okay, this piece is getting attached to my card base. And before I lay it down and press it, I'm going to eyeball all the way around the mint macaron piece and kind of look at my margins. Get them as straight and as equal as I can without being too worried about it. There we go. That looks good to my eye. And that one is in place. Okay, now we're going to do our stamping. So I've got a scrap here. This is about a 1/2 inch. The length doesn't matter because we're going to trim it down anyway. And I'm going to use the stamp that says "For You." I'm going to stamp it in black. Sometimes I do like to just put my words or my sentiments in black. A lot of these colors are very soft, and I'm afraid that it'll just look too pale. So we're just going to try it in black ink. All right, now this piece is going to get trimmed down. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to use my scissors and do a little angle on both ends, like so. Then we'll take this piece and do something a little fancy. So this piece is 3/4 of an inch, and I've cut it about 3 inches, although I might end up taking a little bit off. Let's do our punching first. So I have the banners Pick-a-Punch, and these little slots in here allow you to use different widths of paper. So the 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch is one of them. It will fit in there. But I'm going to flip this over because I want to line it up where I can see it, making sure it's nice and straight before I punch. Okay, now let's check our length. I'm going to want this centered on here, and I want a little bit of space. So I think this is still going to be too long. So I am going to take a little bit of this off. Let's try that and see what we get. And now I'm going to put this end into the punch the same way. Slide it in. Now I don't have very much to work with because it is pretty short now. And let me get my take your pick tool. I need to just nudge this over a little bit and punch. All right, let's see how we did. Here's our finished size. I ended up with just about 2 inches. And where did our words go? Here we go. This is going to get placed right in the center. So I'm going to be happy with that. Let's go ahead and attach "For You" to our little punched piece here. I'm going to lay it down, kind of eyeball it right and left, and put that in place. There we go. Okay. Then what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to mount it on top of a couple of dimensionals. So let's use 2 of those. One on this side and one on this side. And as I'm looking at my card that we're just about finished with, I'm really realizing I don't have one other accent that I really do want on here. So I think I'm going to pull in some ribbon. All right, I'm going to place this right here. Now I am going to do some more stamping. I want to use this stamp. I love that we are friends, and also this heart. So before we come back and finish the front, let's go ahead and stamp. I'm going to do the heart. Okay, I have something in mind, and I think that this is going to end up looking really good. So I'm going to use Sweet Sorbet. And I'm getting a piece of scratch paper here because I'm actually going to stamp off. Oh, I'm really sorry, guys. I just realized that my microphone is hanging and not really attached to where you're getting the best sound. So let's correct that right now. Okay, that should be a little better. I'm going to pick up my Sweet Sorbet ink, stamp it onto some scratch paper, and then onto my card. So I get a very pale version of Sweet Sorbet. Like so. Okay, that's great. That's exactly what I wanted, because now we're going to come in with Balmy Blue and actually stamp right over the heart. And I think it's going to show up nicely. All right, now I'm going to give this one a little practice. Yep. Okay, so instead of going right smack in the center, I'm going to go kind of to the bottom part of the heart. And let's see what we get. Oh, I love it. Okay, so now we're done with the stamping. The inside of the card, it doesn't really need anything more. I did cut this with that in mind. Let's go ahead and add it. It's already cut. It's not taking up too much time. Okay, so we're going to get this in place, and then we'll just go back to the front. I need to think of some ribbon that I can put on that's going to look good with my colors. And then you'll see in the other three cards how they're finished. This one's just going to be finished with ribbon, which also helps this qualify as a Simply Saturday card, because I'm not going to do so much to it. The paper is speaking for itself. I feel like I need to press this a little bit better with my bone folder. Okay, and now let me reach for some ribbon. I think I kind of want something that's a little bit bigger. Okay, this is Petal Pink ribbon, which is going to coordinate. This, I'm sure, is a retired ribbon, so you might have to get a little bit creative in which one you choose. But I'm going to take this and tie a bow. See, I like that it is larger. It's wider. Because I didn't do another focal image, so I want the bow to kind of stand out instead of be tiny. All right, so I've got my loops. I'm just fiddling with it. You know how you have to. You have to get your loops right and your tails right. Now I twisted it. All right, about like that. I'm going to try to make it a teeny bit smaller and snug it up. There we go. Okay, I'm going to use some really sharp scissors to trim my tails. Like so. Okay, so this is going to go up here, which doesn't really impede you seeing how beautiful the paper it is, but it kind of fills in that spot. And then if you want to, maybe we'll even add a couple of rhinestones right there. Let's add this with a glue dot. Again, I have to keep in mind this is a Simply Saturday card, so I don't want to do too much to it. All right, there we have that. I think I'm just going to stop. If you are not in a hurry and you want to bling it up a little bit, you could certainly add a couple of little rhinestones to finish. But there we have it. I would definitely put this in a coordinating envelope, and I haven't done an envelope on camera for a while, so I will go ahead and do that. I've got the flap, excuse me, I've got the flap of my envelope. I'm going to put a little bit of my liquid glue. I'll tell you, after this video, I'm going to have to toss this one and move on to the next one, maybe before I'm done. See, I'm able to coax a little bit more out. All right, so there is the glue on the flap. Then this piece of cardstock is 2.5 inches by 6. So it's a bit generous, but that's totally fine because I want to be able to trim the extra off. So first I'm getting it attached. There's a little bit of adhesive right there. Let's get our adhesive remover. All right, and now back to our flap. So you can take your paper snips, or if you have larger scissors, it's even a little faster. And you're just gonna trim off that extra DSP that's sticking out past the flap of your envelope. Now, I am on the team that, the no naked envelopes team, because I really like, if you're going to go to the effort of having an adorable card on the inside, I don't want just a plain white boring envelope. I know this piece is going to get thrown out, but quite frankly, often the card is going to as well. So I like to either stamp the envelope or do the flap, something, and then it gives you a little sneak peek about what is to come once the recipient opens the envelope. So I'm definitely on the no naked envelopes team. All right, let me move all these little scraps and bits out of the way. Here's our finished card for today. There's the front and the inside. I'm super happy with how that turned out, and our coordinating envelope. Let me bring in the others that I did so you can see same design, same layout, different papers. All right, so there's this one. Now this adorable veggie paper and farm paper, that is found in the SaleABration brochure. We are in our final days of SaleABration. So there's only just a couple days left. This is a free gift with a $50 purchase. I do invite you that if you do not already order through another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I invite you to order through me. At the end of my video or below the video, you'll find in the description box links to my online store, as well as helpful information about our card today. So do consider that. And if your subtotal is $50 US or greater, you can add this adorable paper on for free. All right, so there's this one, and I used some retired dies to finish it up. I think that one turned out cute. This one I left blank on the inside. And I have the paper pre-cut so that I can do an envelope to match it. Then there's this one. This is also retired paper, but not a retired stamp set. This is called Plentiful Plants. And so there's our 3 pieces of paper, just like on our card. A little different here on the words, and there's my accent, my focal image. On the inside of this one, I left it blank, but I did do a coordinating envelope. And then let me show you just one more. This one is actually the same card that I made for my daughter for her birthday. And I've got some retired paper here, retired birthday punches, but I bet if you've been stamping for a while, you probably have the birthday or the balloon punch in your collection. This is current ribbon. This is the burlap ribbon, which is in the January to April mini catalog. This one has a little strip on the inside as an accent and a coordinating envelope. So you can see how just changing up your papers is going to give you all kinds of different looks. And it's such a great layout. I loved copying Cheryl's card and having fun with this myself. Thank you so much for watching today. As I said, open the description box below this video. You just need to click on the words that say see more, and then more of that box will open, and that's where all the good stuff is. I'll also put some links to some of my favorite non-Stampin' Up! Products, And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I do invite you to do so. It helps me so much if you subscribe, and it helps you because if you subscribe and click the notification bell, you will always be notified each time I put up a new video here on my channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy stamping.